Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday Wellness. How's that for alliteration? And good morning, Dr. Kaye. Glad to have you back with us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful. Um, Today, we are going to discuss some alternatives, some other different ways of doing things when we're not feeling good or when we're not our best. How are things in California this morning? The weather, the fires? Let's have a little update from you.
Oh, it's gorgeous here. I love the fall and the springtime because it's not too hot, not too cold. It's just beautiful. So it's a warm, sunny day.
Nice. We had a beautiful day yesterday. I was sitting out in my shorts and t-shirt.
Mhm.
It was amazing. And we're going to have the same thing today here in the Great Northwest. One of the things I'm realizing is that our weather patterns here are usually similar to that of California. So if you guys are having rain and clouds and what, we're having that. But of course, we're directly north of you, so I guess some of that stuff would travel. And thank you for bringing us some sunshine the last couple of days. Yes.
We'll give it to you.
Well, there's an alternative right there. Let's talk about that because we're going to talk about different things that Kay and I do. We are both cancer survivors. We're both in our 70s. We are both healthy. And we're going to talk about how we manage that. And I think we're the two perfect people to do that. So, yeah, let's get started. So, how about getting started with vitamin D? That's why I sat out in the sun yesterday for just a little while, my head in the shade, but getting some sun on my body, and just bringing that vitamin D into me, and it feels so good to be sitting in that warmth.
Oh,
And yeah, so what do you know about that?
yes, I've got a yard and a garden and grow my own garden in my backyard. And it just feels so good to go out in the sun and just grab some of that vitamin D. Um,
Mhm.
and they say 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes is all you need. But I can't imagine people that don't have it, like way, way up north, where I just returned from Iceland and Norway, and they don't get sun. In the wintertime, they don't get the sun that we do here. So love being able to get out and enjoy it and
Mhm.
get that happiness back in our lives. It really heals a lot of things.
Right. And then while I was sitting in the sun yesterday, I did my deep breathing. So, as we've talked about in other workshops and other radio, I was going to say radio shows, other shows, just while I was sitting there, I was just doing my deep breathing as well at the same time. So I was kind of killing two birds with one stone. And so, what is it? What is it that's so beneficial about that deep breathing? Okay.
Oh my goodness, the deep breathing is so good for your body to get that oxygen in to expand your lungs and let
Hmm.
them know that you're here. And if you're taking a good proper breathing deep breath in, you're really filling up all those little auricles in your lungs that are there. I hope I'm using the right word there. And then when you push it back out, and if you can push your tummy in and your belly button in all the way in, push it all out, is so good for your tummy. So it's a whole body influence on you. And I think that idea of being out in the vitamin D in the sun and doing something else, whether it's gardening, whether it's playing with your dog, taking a walk, hiking a little bit, any of that out in the sun is so
Hmm.
good for you. But that deep breath is also part of that.
And that's all free. That's all free to us,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And I also learned a while ago that oxygen kills cancer cells.
Yes.
Wow. So why wouldn't we do that
Yeah.
every day? Every day I do my deep breaths every day now.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Here's our little Kathy Bell here today again.
Hi,
She's
Kathy.
going to be so knowledgeable by the time she finishes watching all of our shows, right? I think she's here taking notes.
Oh, that's good. I
That's great. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So we also know, for me at our age and any age really, our safety and our health. To me, a lot of people say health is number one, but I believe when you're safe, that contributes to your health and vice versa. So health and safety have got to be number one priorities when we're taking care of ourselves, or if we're caregiving to others, right? So what are some things that we do to stay safe? Because that's about staying well.
Mhm. Well, I think there's some really needs as far as can you maintain your balance? Is there some things you can do to help increase your balance and standing on one foot? You can do that in the kitchen as you're cooking or as you're getting a drink of water. Water is so important for you too. But the balance and being able to have your strength, working with some weights, maybe a little bit, is so helpful because you need to have the strength. What if you need to fight somebody off? Sometimes it
Mhm,
only takes a little a push to get rid of them, but you need to have that strength, that balance in your body to be able
mhm,
to take care of yourself.
mhm. Yeah.
Um,
And just safety around the house, making sure that you don't have any junk laying on your stairs, going upstairs, that you don't have things on the steps that you could trip over. Those are the kinds of things I'm cautious about with regards to Ron staying safe and keeping the dog's toys out of the middle of the room and those kinds of things, making sure that we don't have things in the way at night, especially if we're going to get up to go to the washroom, that type of thing.
yeah, and I firmly believe in watching out for rugs. Anything that's on the floor, you
Yeah.
picking up the dog's toys. But a lot of people nowadays are putting rugs, and I've tripped over so many in different people's homes that
Hmm.
I don't want to have, but maybe one or two at the back door and the front door, and that's maybe going to be.
Yeah.
But I think, especially as we get a little older, we just need to be careful of what's on the floor, watching where our feet are going, but also
Hmm.
maintaining our balance and where
Hmm.
where we are in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Um,
So just it's about awareness and
mhm.
keeping ourselves sharp. Uh, and there's lots of ways that we can do that too. So what do you think is the most common ailment that people would have in the run of a day? Whether that's a headache, a tummy ache, what do you think is the most common one? I have no idea. I'm just going to speculate, but I, what do you think it is? I'm not
In
sure.
the in the run of a day, hmm, I'm kind of thinking that whatever people are doing, sometimes they get backaches or headaches.
Hmm.
Um, if you're eating your normal food, you probably would not have a stomach ache unless there was something really physically wrong, or you had some kind caught some kind of a bug of some kind, or
Hmm.
picked up something from the fruits and vegetables you've eaten. Um,
Hmm.
and that's why I really watch my fruits and vegetables and where they come from, whether
Hmm.
they're in my yard, in my tree, or my tower garden, or if they're from the store, then I will make sure they're washed and clean. Um, but I think, yeah, there's probably those are the things I'm thinking that might be run of the mill daily things. Taking a nap in the afternoon, even if it's just for a little bit. A
Hmm.
20-minute nap is so good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kathy said feeling tired, no energy, low energy.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
Yeah.
people out there like that,
Mhm.
and they don't have to be old,
Yeah.
right?
After I take a nap in the afternoon, sometimes I'll take it and I my chiropractor taught me to roll up a towel and roll it up long ways and put it right under the top part of your back, just right about where your shoulder blades are, and lay on that. And oh my goodness, I can feel that push on my back when I lay down to take a little afternoon nap. And then when I get up, quite often I'm feeling okay, I'm kind of sluggish. Especially if I've taken a too long a nap, So what I'm taking now, if I can share this,
Yeah.
is Luminate. And this Luminate are just they're little uh, tubes of powdery drink that help to increase your brain and help your strength of your muscles and get you back to functioning again. And they're all plant based. There's uh, 5 or 6 different plants in them, including mushrooms of types. But I can feel my brain. Okay, we got to get back to working again. It's just you can just almost feel it
Hmm.
happen.
Yeah. Wow. Well, something I do for energy, similar but different. I have a hard time swallowing pills. So when it comes to taking vitamins, that's not a good way for me to absorb that. So one of my favorites is a product, and we're not, by the way, today we're not promoting anybody's product. We're just telling you what we're doing. Okay. So we're going to have to promote. But I take these, and this is a vitamin C powder like yours, and I take 2 of them and I put them in a 16-ounce glass of water. So now I'm getting water plus my vitamin C. But this also contains things like calcium, phosphorus, magnesium. It has all of your electrolytes in it that your body needs. And this is what I take when I get up from a nap, because that, two glasses of that. I've got the water in there and my emergence. And these come now, they only ever used to be orange, but now they come in different flavors. You can get pomegranate, you can get grapefruit, and
Raspberry.
that's a really great, cost effective injection of good things into your body.
Yes. We
Uh-huh.
used that on our trip too. It was very helpful in just keeping our immune system up
Hmm.
and functioning well. And even when I started to get a little bit ill, I thought, okay, I'm going to take my emergency and make sure I
Hmm.
got
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I've also done that, and I think the Juice Plus little fruits and vegetable capsules that are not capsules, but the chewies that they have. They come like this, and then they also come in a little baggies that
Right.
are individual for each day. But I like those as well. And I too have problems with taking capsules. So if I take capsules, sometimes I'll do these afterwards that use the little
Yeah.
chewables afterwards just to kind of push it all down and get it all down there.
Hmm. Something else I do at the beginning of a cold, at the beginning, if I get a sniffle or I'm feeling a cold coming on, then I take my wonderful oil of oregano, and you can get it in liquid or you can get it in capsules. So, oil of oregano, if you capture a cold on the front end with that, the liquid oil, it comes with an eyedropper, and you just put a drop or two of the oregano into a little shot glass size of orange juice or cranberry juice or something, because it tastes terrible. But if you can just chug a lug it down, honestly, that will stop that virus in you, like right there in its tracks. I don't take other medications for colds or anything, but if I do the right thing with this in the beginning, done. What do
Yay.
you do for a cold? What do you do for a cold? Or
Well, uh, I really like doing the emergency. I try to keep up with my Juice Plus. I do some oils. Sometimes I'll have, like, this is a frankincense and this is a lavender. And so you could probably put topically your oregano oil, and it might be really good to put it on the bottom of your feet. This is where I put these things right
okay,
up on the bottom of your feet because it gets through your whole body uh, very, very quickly, very well. So yeah,
have,
it worked
have
really
you
good.
ever seen? Have you ever seen or heard of? Because today we're talking, alternatives, but there might be some old wives' tales thrown in there. Um, have you ever seen that post where you put onions on the bottoms of your feet and you put some socks on and you go to? I've never done it. I should try it. But I guess in the morning those onions are black with the toxins that they pulled out of your system.
Mm.
Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of that. I've never done it.
We should try it and see if it works.
Yeah. Somebody also just sent me, my friend Barbara sent me information about taking a cabbage leaf if you've got a bad cough and
Okay.
putting honey on it and then putting it on your chest. If it's really a bad cough, putting it on your back with the honey inside and then a tight shirt on overnight. And just in the morning, it's all gone. And
Wow.
I have not tried that one either, but I thought, oh,
Right.
that's an
Yeah.
interesting one to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tummy issues. I have some, not many, but um, in finding now if I eat too much cheese or too much ice cream, I have a bit of a lactose intolerance, not huge. Or if I'm going to have something spicy, before I have my meal, I take one of these.
Okay.
And this supports your, like if you have irritable bowel or you're having problems digesting food, and they come in a capsule, and you just take one, and it's an intensified probiotic. So it kills all that bad stuff in your tummy without harming the good stuff. Because that's the problem with antibiotics, isn't it?
Mhm.
You take an antibiotic to get over something, and it just doesn't get rid of the virus or the bacteria. It also kills off other stuff. Am I correct in that?
Yeah. Yeah. So the yogurt's really, really good for building up the natural
Mm-hmm.
uh, biotics in your system and building up the natural bacteria in your system so that you can fight some of that off. Um, and they say Greek yogurt is probably one of the best to do.
Yes.
And as much as you can, get rid of the sugar so you
Mm-hmm.
don't have that sugar in there, because that
Mm-hmm.
also is part of the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I had the breast cancer, they said stay off of sugar as much as possible. And I love sugar, so it's been really hard to try
Yeah.
and cut it down. The other thing I do is this activated charcoal. Let's see, where are we? There we are. And I take some activated charcoal. If my tummy is having problems, I'll put this in, and it just almost immediately takes effect. And I'll share with you too. My roommate on my trips gave me little papaya enzymes that you can get at a health food store that were really good. Gosh, I had a little stomach ache and I hadn't dug through to find my charcoal yet, and so she gave me one of those, and it just immediately helped my
Mm-hmm.
stomach, calmed it down, and okay, everything's okay.
All right. Okay, so we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, we have a question from Kathy. And also, if anybody's watching, we've got a few viewers today. If you have a question or a comment, just put it on the comments and we'll get to you. So let's just have a little 30-second break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, and Wellness Wednesday. And Dr. Kaye and I are here today talking about different ways to handle different situations that we might be experiencing. Things like tummy aches, headaches, the daily stuff, the lower back pain, the whatever. Oh, I did something around that too. I bought myself one of those nice body pillows, the pillows that go right from the base of your neck right down to your tippy toes. And I teased Ron. I said, we're going to have 3 people in the bed now. So I put this pillow up behind my back, and what a difference. It gave my spine a place to kind of steady itself, or because sometimes if you don't, if your spine or your sciatica is in your back, so if it's out of balance or out of whack, um, that can hurt in the morning when you're getting out of bed. What do you know about that, Kay?
Well, I'll share two things about that. It's really good. Where you put it on your back, the back of on your backside, they usually use it on the front side and like
Mm-hmm.
between your knees and to hold
Mm-hmm.
your hips in the right place. And I know my daughter just loves having one of those pillows and using it between her knees and just keeping her hips in the right place while you're
Mm-hmm.
sleeping. I found it really helpful on my back as well because I have sleep apnea and I have severe sleep apnea, they say. And they say if you're on your side, for me, when they tested me, they said on your side, then that is a whole lot better sleeping position than on my back. Then and open my mouth and that kind of thing.
Right.
So I put the little round pillow. I have a smaller one. It's about maybe 2 feet long, and I put it in my back to keep my body on its side. And I also put tape. I have some tape like this, and I just take a piece of tape and put it across my mouth to sleep with at night, and just take that off, put it across my mouth, and that holds my mouth shut at night, so that I'm not, opening my mouth to breathe. And I think
Right.
that's been very helpful for the sleep apnea.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Okay. Kathy has a question here, and I don't know if we can answer it. We're not doctors. We're not medical doctors. We have honorary doctorates in humanitarianism. That's our doctorate. But we're not medical doctors. But hey, you can, Kay is a wellness coach, certified wellness coach. Okay. Is there anything persons who don't have a colon should take? For example, my mother had a colon cancer and, of course, obviously had a colostomy. So, is there anything that they need to be taking to maintain good digestive order? I would say is what the
Yeah.
question is.
Well, I think listening to your doctor, I don't know what the doctors have to say, but as much as you can do natural, and
Hmm.
God's provided us a way of healing. He's given us all the materials and the tools we need to heal ourselves. And if we, as much as we can get the natural fruits and vegetables into our body, He's given us that. And whether it would be like natural fruits and vegetables, which she may not be able to do anymore. I don't know what her doctor's saying, or whether it's capsules,
Hmm.
fruits and vegetables in a capsule, like in Juice Plus, or those chewables that are just fruits and vegetables in those capsules,
Hmm.
with the chewies. But something along that line, or maybe even a shake. She could do maybe a shake like this that has just fruits and vegetables have that in there. So that might be helpful as well to help keep her. Got a red phone there. Huh?
Yeah. I don't know if it's somebody calling in with a question that says FYI, doctors. Oh, okay. Things happen. We're
Yeah,
not medical doctors. That's why I wanted to clarify that.
I'd certainly listen to your doctor, especially about the colon.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah, I
sure.
have.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I would not know what to say.
Yeah, and I'd also like to just, qualify. We're not here to promote any particular product. We're not here to dismiss our professionals. We're just here talking everyday talk, girl talk about what we need to do to stay well and to stay healthy. And if there are 250 ways to do dishes, I assure you there are 250 ways to take care of yourself. Isn't that the truth?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
For
can eat
seeds.
any fruit. Yeah, she can't have seeds, but fruits and vegetables. Well, there you go.
Okay.
All right, she might enjoy those gummies. So let's talk more about the sleeping patterns. I like to talk about, so I've got that pillow for my back and I'm going to try it on the front. I think that's a good idea. I had a little pillow from a company called Health Lab and it was shaped like a heart. And
Okay.
that's what you put between your knees to prevent the back pain. And didn't I leave it at the hotel on my way to California last year? I forgot to take it out of the bed before I left my hotel in Edmonton. So I haven't replaced it, but I have a regular pillow that I use. So, what about amounts of sleep that we should be getting?
Again, I think your body tells you God's given us that feeling of, okay, I've got to get some sleep. And even though you may have what they say 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night, there's sometimes I need to have 7 hours like I did last night. There's sometimes I need 8 hours, and my body will say, "You're not ready to wake up yet." And as much as you can, if you can wake up without an alarm and going to bed at a decent time, I know my nature path says everybody should be in bed and asleep at 9:30 at night. Well, I don't do that. I'm up later than that, but I think your body tells you in the afternoon if you're tired and you need a nap, do it. Your
Right.
body's telling you we need some sleep.
Yes. And of course, the only time that the body really has to heal itself is when we are sleeping.
Mhm.
So when we're up and around and doing our day and doing our work and all that, the body has very little opportunity to be healing itself because we're using it, right? So when you're sleeping, that's the body's way of having an opportunity to start working on itself and healing itself because we're at rest. I try to be in bed by 10:30 latest because I'm up at 7 every morning and I've never used an alarm clock.
Oh,
I have never. But then if I was working shift work, that would be different because we're off the regular beaten path of, getting that regular sleeping pattern. But my mom did share with me many years ago that the only way they could get me to calm down as a baby is if they put me in the car and drove around the block, I'd be
mhm.
asleep. And even today, if I'm driving around and Ron's driving or someone else is driving, I generally can have a nap in the car. So it's patterns, behaviors, and that's why I think it's really important for parents to have those regular bedtimes for their kids.
Mhm.
Some of our kids are up till 10, 11 o'clock at night until their parents go to bed. Like that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I used to tell my kids, even though they weren't quite ready to go to sleep or quite ready to take a nap in the afternoon, just lay down. Your body needs to de-stress. It needs to
Mm.
rest. And let's just lay down. You can lay down in the afternoon for half an hour. And I would tell my kids, let's just get a good book. And if you fall asleep, great. And if not, then okay. But you've read a book or done something that's quiet and peaceful. And the same at night. I think I love to go to bed at night and just I kind of do a routine of just being in bed, uh, slowing my body down. I write down the things I'm thankful for that day, and just that okay, I've gotten through this, and I met this person and was able to talk to them and share with them, and it's neat to think about all the things that have happened and that you're thankful for.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
maybe the miracles, maybe God saved you from something that was bad on the freeway or something, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's right. That's always when people get their flights delayed or the flight is canceled. Sometimes it's for a good reason,
Yeah,
and you should be grateful for that, right?
yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to share some books that we have with our viewers today that we use as resources and references for wellness. So just give us about 30 seconds, and Dr. K and I will be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the Today Show here on our Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Kay Sheffield and myself. And by the way, we're not medical doctors. We want to make sure you understand that. Dr. Kaye is a certified health coach for sure. And I do all kinds of other things, but we actually received honorary doctorates for our work in the world. And this is one of those doctorates where you've already done the work and you're being honored because of that. So we both received honorary doctorates in humanitarianism. And we were very honored and privileged to be considered, nominated, and accepted for that recognition. So, just to be clear, so nobody out there thinks that we're medical doctors giving advice, we're not. We're just two older girls who actually live very healthy lifestyles. And how did we get here? And some of the things that we did to get here. And one of them was taking care of ourselves. Because basically, I've had cancer. Kaye's had cancer twice. But if we had not been healthy in the first place, we don't know where that cancer might have gone. We're both cancer free right now. So, and I say cancer free. I don't like the idea that if you had cancer, you'll probably get it again. I think that's a tape. So I don't play that tape. So we're going to share some books. Any thoughts for you, Kay, on the cancer conversation? Because we could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, I know we could. I think what I learned from having cancer, and I just started reading like crazy when I got it twice within 2 years of each other, two different kinds of cancer. And I just started reading everything I could find on it and found out that we all have cancer cells in our body, flying around in our body. And if we don't take care of ourselves, those attach someplace. And
Mhm.
that's what they did for both of us. And we need to just, if we're on top of things and if we're taking care of ourselves, they're less likely to attach to something.
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. So, something else that I do to stay well is I have my book called Simple Abundance, and it's a day book of comfort and joy. And today, September 25th, there's a kind of like a reading for each of the days. And today is the title is If One Woman Has Done It, So Can You. And if not, why not you? That's the title today. And the quote is I've always believed that one woman's success can only help another woman's success. Gloria Vanderbilt said that.
Oh my goodness.
So then I do my little reading. Well, that helps me to get grounded. Grounded. Some people have their Bible. Some people, I have that too. But is my go-to in the morning to start my day, to get myself grounded. And
Mm,
I believe that what goes on up here has a lot to do with how well you are. Some people choose sickness. I prefer to choose wellness. What have
yes,
you got to say about that aspect of wellness? What are we doing for this up here to keep it straight? Okay.
absolutely. I think we can get down and we can start
Mhm.
thinking bad thoughts and oh, poor me and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And one of the things I just wrote down when I was preparing for today was just to smile.
Yes.
Sometimes even if there's nobody around, put a smile on your face. It just picks you up. You can almost feel yourself lifting up.
Mhm.
And I might even look and see, okay, oh, that tree. Oh, there's a little lizard out there. Oh my goodness. And it puts a smile on my face. Hummingbird, something outside, maybe not even that, maybe just a leaf floating down from a tree might put a smile on your face. But I think that has a lot to do with your brain and what you're thinking and
Yeah,
de-stressing.
and your wellness. Because wellness just isn't about the physical.
Right.
Wellness is mental, emotional,
Absolutely.
spiritual. And we work in the area of emotional wellness a lot of the time, helping people to get themselves stabilized so that they can make great decisions.
Mhm.
So I decide I deserve to be well, and I tell that a lot, Kay, to our distributors and suppliers of products, that the person needs to know they deserve that before they might ever even purchase something to make themselves better.
Yeah.
They need to have that self-worth or that feeling that, hey, I'm worth it. Well, people say, well, that's awfully expensive, but I'm worth it. My health is worth it,
Right.
right?
Yeah, and to look at those little pieces in your life that are, what can you change? What could you upgrade? I was just recently diagnosed with high cholesterol, and my chart was is going along like this, and the blood supply when they took it in August, what shot up with the cholesterol, and I thought that's not like me. It's been going along for years, like at a certain level, and I thought, okay, am I getting enough exercise? What have I done? I've just been on a cruise where I've had some other kinds of foods than what I usually have at home. So just kind of watching to see, okay, what can I change? Can I add more exercise in? Am I getting it every day? So yeah, I think it's
So
on.
did you choose to take medication or did you choose to do it on your own?
At this point, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm going to look and see those things that are, and I went to a medical research search place and found the foods that I should be eating. Uh,
Mhm.
Listened to a doctor, and we talked about the getting the sleep and the exercise and the water and making sure all of those things are there. And I'll be tested again in December. And I thought, if I can watch some of those things and make sure I've done them all, and our bodies just don't process things like we used to when we were younger.
Yes, as we
Yeah,
get older,
yeah.
right?
Let's figure out
Cool,
what to do. So I'm going to
cool.
give that a try.
Yeah. Well, I really have, and I'd like to comment on big pharma really because I'm really uncomfortable when I see an advertisement for a drug. So if this is wrong with you and you take this pill, it'll fix that. But then be careful because this is what else could happen. So all the side effects. It could cause diarrhea. It could create, strokes. I just that makes me really uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable with that. But yet they're not allowed to advertise cigarettes or alcohol or some of the other things that aren't good for us either.
Yeah,
But wow,
yeah.
romanticized.
I think there's a balance, and even though I'm choosing not to take the medication right now for the cholesterol, it's not that high. I'm going to watch what I'm doing, but I'm also going to listen to my doctor.
Mhm.
But I'm going to also choose wisely, and just say, can I do this? Can I change some things in my habits to make what I'm doing better and to fight this off and to change what I'm doing?
Right. And sometimes, as my mom said to me one time, well, every once in a while, you may need to take something because your body needs the support or a little boost. So, I'm not saying don't take pills, but just be cautious. And I do my research. If Ron is put on a medication for something, which he just recently eliminated a whole bunch of stuff and is down to two little tiny pills a day. One is a blood thinner, which is necessary because of the family history, blood clots in the family, and he had a big blood clot last Christmas. And the other is for his diabetes, and he's on one tiny little pill, and sugar levels are terrific. So sometimes we need that. He's 83, But when I met him and he was 50, he had a whole shoebox full of stuff he was taking. And I went, what? No, this is not good. So just be careful. And do your research. And when I look at the side effects and I go, well, the side effects are worse than what's wrong with you,
Yes.
then we're going to make a different decision. And I have a personal story about that. And thank gosh for a good pharmacist. It wasn't the doctor. My husband's doctor prescribed an increase in his metformin. Now he was taking metformin for years for the diabetes. And to be truthful, it was sucking the life out of him. His legs were starting to give out. And these are some of the side effects of long-term use of a drug. And so anyway, his doctor increased it, and I took his prescription to the druggist, the pharmacist, and he said, I'm refusing to fill that.
Oh,
Uh huh.
wow.
The pharmacist, I will listen to him first. He said, no, 6 of those a day, he's a dead man. So we need to find an alternative. And controlling the diet wasn't working. The sugar was still spiking. He'd been on metformin for 12 years. But now there's a new drug, a little tiny pill that just leveled everything out that the pharmacist recommended. So we got his doctor to write a prescription for that particular drug. But that went backwards. It went from the pharmacist to the doctor. And he said, I'll be phoning your doctor and I will not be filling that prescription. How responsible is that?
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. I think it's just so wise to be your own advocate for so many things that we're told. And the doctors, they only have, oh, I don't know, a 15-minute, I've heard 15 minutes of
Mhm,
nutrition. And, you know, we're provided with all the fruits and vegetables in the stores. We can find them, we can grow them. So why not do that? That's provided for us that we can heal ourselves in many ways
mhm,
rather than taking something that's a drug that's made of synthetics
mhm,
and has these
mhm,
reactions, like you say, to your body. So,
mhm.
yeah, it's got to be on our own. I'll do our own research, like you're saying.
Right on. So we
Right.
better get to our books. You have someone
Oh,
that you studied under. Do you want to talk about Dr. Sears?
I do. I love Dr. Sears. I love what I've learned from him. If I could just remember everything that he said, but he had this one we did was the healthiest kid in the neighborhood. He's got like 47, 48 publications out.
Oh, wow.
So there was that one. There was one on inflammation that I read, and there's one since we did the kids. This one for the kids, and then there's one for what they call prime time health. So this one's for older people, and I've got all these little tags in there and reading it, and I need to keep rereading it because there's things that I forget. So
Mhm,
yeah, there's things that are in there that are very
mhm.
helpful to remember to do and to
Right.
do for yourself. Yeah.
Yes. And another book that we promote a lot on the show because we've had Dr. Patricia Crane on to talk about Louise Hay. But if you don't know Louise Hay's work in the world, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer way back in the day, and was given X number of months to live, and said, "No, that's not happening. I'm not dying," and she healed herself. She passed away probably 2 or 3 years ago now. She was in her 90s. So if you want to know the work of Louise Hay, you just go to hayhouse.com. But what I loved about Louise, and this is my third copy because I wore the other two out. Okay. And I had a client say, Laurie, another copy with all the pages intact. She purchased it for me and
Oh,
gave it to me as a gift. And I went, oh my goodness. But one of the things that I love about the book, in the back is a glossary. Okay. And we can pick an ailment. And Louise was the first granddaddy of us all to say, a lot of our physical ailments, not all of them, but a lot of our physical ailments have an emotional root cause. And people, they almost burned her at the stake. I mean, it was like, seriously? I mean, you've got to think now, 40, 50 years ago, somebody saying something like that. Today, not so unusual. So she put a glossary together, and she talked about it's in the alphabetical order. So just yell out an ailment, Kay, that some people have that and I'll see if it's in here and we can look it up.
how about diabetes?
Okay, diabetes. I know that one off by heart.
It's one
Hmm.
frequently had by
Yeah,
people.
because when you think about our indigenous communities that are rampant with diabetes, okay,
Mhm.
it's every other person has them. Longing for what might have been,
Mm.
a great need to control, deep sorrow, and no sweetness left in my life.
Wow.
Is that not like I think about all of my indigenous friends who have diabetes and historically how they've been punished and hurt and lost their way of life? That's pretty darn accurate, isn't
Yeah,
it?
No sweetness left.
Maybe Kathy would like to text one up for us that she'd like us to look up, or any of our viewers. What's another one?
How about a headache? Just a common.
Okay. Headache. Invalidating the self. Self-criticism and fear. Wow. So next to it, though, she has a new thought process that you can, an affirmation that you can share with yourself. So, like opposite of headaches, my new thought pattern is I love and approve of myself. I see myself and what I do with eyes of love. I am safe. So instead of I've got a headache, I'm feeling terrible. I shouldn't have, eaten all that cheese. Self-criticism, right? All these self-criticism. Let's look up cancer since we both had cancer.
Okay,
And
and even a smile. I'm thinking that's where a smile might go in with that. Just
absolutely.
Your happy self.
Kathy mentioned her mom with the colon. The colon, a fear of letting go and holding on to the past. I don't know, Kathy, if you heard that. Colon, fear of letting go and holding on to the past. We were going to do cancer. Deep hurt. Woo-hoo. Well, that would be our lives. Long-standing resentment, deep secret of grief eating away at the self. Yeah.
And what's the alternative? What's their suggestion
The
for
affirmation for that?
Yeah.
I lovingly forgive and release all of the past. I choose to fill my world with joy, and I love and approve of myself.
Fantastic.
Imagine that could keep cancer away. I'm in.
Yeah,
Right?
me too.
Right? Absolutely.
Probably laughter too is part of that. I'm thinking,
Yes.
yeah, because when you laugh, then you put in
Well,
those things into your
it's
body.
releasing hormones when you laugh. All the serotonin and the endorphins to the brain. That's the good feel. That's a very important. What's another common one? Let's look up heart disease, because that's the second killer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The heart represents the center of love and security. So a heart attack, squeezing all the joy out of the heart in favor of money or position. Whoa. And heart problems, long-standing emotional problems that have not been healed, a lack of joy, hardening of the heart, belief in strain and stress.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to go to a hospital and just take my book with me and ask each person what he is struggling with, and then ask them about the probable cause, because that's what she calls that column, probable cause. Mm-hmm. So yes, so today, just some alternative ways to take care of yourself. Find some heroes like Dr. Sears or Louise Hay, or maybe you have someone in the family who's a naturopath, or that maybe there's a doctor in your family, or a nurse, that someone who has their nursing degree, who also believes that it's not just all one way. And I should say that the indigenous people have very powerful medicines. And our guest last week on our show talked about that, how there's a process to finding the medicines in the forest, uh, bringing them back, drying them out, processing them the way they're administered. Because remember, before European contact, there was no other way other than the natural way. And they didn't have diabetes back then, and they didn't have poor nutrition. They ate off the land, and they ate game meat, they were vegetarians. Their bodies were very slim, very strong, and now they're riddled with overweight, diabetes, heart disease, you name it. But we were at the River Cree, I'll put a plug in for them, resort, doing an interview. And right next door, they're putting up the most brilliant and beautiful medical care facility. It even has the shape of a teepee at the top of it, like there's a tent shape in the design. But people are going to be able to go there and have the choice of Western medicines or their natural medicines. So, in other words, they're going to blend the two disciplines.
Oh my
Isn't
goodness.
that beautiful?
Yeah.
And it's for their community. Wow. I think
Well,
that's just brilliant.
yeah. A lot to be said for that. Give it a try. But I think there's a place where you need to realize the balance that we need.
Yes.
Sometimes we need to realize that
Oh,
we need the doctors. The doctors have been trained,
absolutely.
and we
Absolutely.
need to rely on them as well. So,
Well, I want to know that there's a doctor that can stitch me up if I'm in an accident,
oh yeah,
right? I'm not going to do that myself.
yep, yep.
Even though I've been a nice seamstress and I've been known to make a few good things, but at the same time, I will not be stitching meat. All right. Anything else, Kay? We've got about 4 minutes here left before we go. Any other words of encouragement or thoughts you'd like to share with people?
Let me see. I wrote down what I wrote down with some stretches, making
Mm-hmm.
sure you're stretching as well. Social time, making sure that's
Oh,
in your maybe not daily. It doesn't have to be daily, but you certainly to be part of social community, doing something, and of course, dance. I'm dancing this week, so
oh,
I think
yes.
dancing and moving, whether it's moving to music or dance or just getting out and stretching and making your body do some different things rather than being stuck and sitting in a chair and whatnot.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
those are, um, very
And
helpful. Walk.
that's easy to do with all the calls and Zoom calls, and we're on our computers, and some people have purchased those desks where you stand up and work on your computer. That seems to be a move in the right direction as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at times you
All
get tired. You want to sit down.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, Dr. K, it's always lovely having you to talk with on Wednesdays because you're just a wealth of knowledge. You have so much experience and you're here to tell the tales. So, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to support the show. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you bet.
You too. It's fun to be here always. So
All
it's
right.
great
Great
to
way to start our Wednesday, right?
mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, bye, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, and we'll be with our beautiful veteran, Jill Younghusband, and we have a special guest, Roger, who paints, a veteran who found his healing through painting. And so he'll be our guest tomorrow. So it'll be a really fun show. All right. So bye for now, and we'll see you all soon.